So I'll start off with this one. I had two, and I was to-ing and fro-ing between them both, but I decided to go with a team that lost me two of my free bets last week. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. Like Vikings. I almost just snapped my pen now just talking about it. But where do you start with a team? They're playing Tampa Bay Bucks, who've lost their 45-year-old quarterback. Heavy favourites. I think they were 7-point favourites, something along them lines. In the first half, you turn the ball over 3 times. One time at Tampa Bay's 26. You fumble it. So you've given up a minimum of 3 points there. Then the next time, you fumble it on your own 13 to give away another 3 points for a field goal there. So you've given up at least 6 points at the moment, maybe 10. And then again, just before the half, you decide to turn it over on Tampa Bay's 13. What is going on? You've given up at least 13 to 17 points in the first half alone. You are not going to win football matches playing like that. Cousins, he threw for some big numbers, but the damage was done. It was done. And lo and behold, they do it again yesterday. How many turnovers was it yesterday? I think it was about 3 or 4 again. Handling issues, not necessarily his fault on all of them. So, yeah, I look at time of possession. Tampa Bay had 20 minutes of time of possession in the second half. So Minnesota only had the ball for 9 minutes and 58 seconds in the second half. They made Baker Mayfield look like a leader, like someone you can trust in the clutch. I'm sorry, but after years of watching Baker Mayfield, he is not a leader. He is not someone you can trust on 3rd and longs in the pressure moments, because he gets found out over and over again. The Vikings D has made him look almost legendary in that second half. This D is shocking. I'm going to hopefully put it down to growing pains with the new defensive coordinator. We'll give it a few more weeks, but the offense is good. It's good. They've got the players, but man, the DC and the defense, they've got questions to answer, because for me, not good enough. So that's my step it up moment. Paul, what's yours?
I'm going to go with third-year quarterback Justin Fields, who, I mean, he's in the 3rd year now. And when are people going to realize that nobody should be losing their job in Chicago except Justin Fields? He is the reason. I mean, the kid cannot throw, and he cannot throw as an NFL level quarterback. And what I mean by that is he needs to see you come open and then manage to get the ball to you before the defense closes.
Yeah.
He can't throw with anticipation. He can't throw with timing. He can throw deep. I'll give him that. He has got a strong arm. But again, he can't anticipate the deep throw. He's just got a strong arm. And what they've done this year in Chicago is they've invested a 1st-round pick in DJ Moore over the summer. I know before the end of last season, they sent a 2nd-round pick to the Steelers for Chase Claypool. Their original 1st-round pick that they had in this year's draft just gone, they invested in a tackle. So they're giving Justin Fields every possible chance to be successful. And don't be surprised if they're picking again first, or at least in the top 2 or 3 in this upcoming year's draft. And if I'm Chicago, I'm thinking the kid who plays quarterback for USC looks a whole lot better than Justin Fields does right now. they played. How embarrassing for the Bears in their home opener against the Packers, their hated division rival. Just Jordan Love comes into your house and looks like a calm veteran, and your quarterback, who you've invested in, who's had a lot more playing time, by the way, than Jordan Love. The moment looked too big for him.
Did you see the camera angle, Paul, of Soldier Field at the beginning? It was either at the end of the third or at the beginning of the fourth. Just like everyone leaving. It was shocking. But yeah, no, that was a bad one. He finished half a yard short of the over/under for the rush as well, but we'll touch upon that one later. Yeah, great one, Paul. What about yourself, Jay?
I like to think that I'm fair and I'm impartial.
You have your moment.
So I'm going to call out one of my favourite players in the NFL, and I'm going to call out Josh Allen. And I'm going to say it's time to rein it in. I think that Josh Allen has reached a point where, like, he obviously knows he is good, but he's reached a point where he really believes that he can make a play on every single play. And we saw this again on Monday night, where a bodged snap, he fumbles it on the floor. Most quarterbacks will just protect, the ball. But he picks it up and he thinks, I'm going to run into a brick wall. And one thing that I've always been a bit concerned with him is the amount of contact that he takes. You're not going to last long in the NFL at quarterback if those hits add up. They're going to weigh you down. We've seen it time and time again with these mobile quarterbacks, and he is like an elite running quarterback. Mm-hmm. But I think when I look at the game, particularly with Rodgers going out, he's got to be more aware of the situation. I look at, I think it was maybe the start of the fourth quarter. They're up by 7. They're on the edge of field goal range. It's third down, and there's nothing there. And what Josh Allen needs to learn is to throw it away.
Yeah.
And know that there is another play, in the game. Not, what, I can see Diggs down there. He's double covered. Oh, well, I'll throw it. Interception. You gave them life. They got momentum from that interception. They went down the field and scored a touchdown. Tie game. Yeah. So I'm gonna. That's what I'm wanting Josh to step up in. Use this week as a clean slate and live to fight another play, shall we say? And in fairness, I do genuinely believe that this offense is an average offense. If you take position by position, like as an example, for the 49ers, I would take Josh Allen and Diggs. I would not consider anyone else. I've never known a receiver like Gabriel Davis who had one big game and suddenly became a household name. Like I'm not even sure he's a number 2 on most teams, but he's sort of spoken about as if, he's got Gabriel Davis. And I'm like, well, okay, let's see how many teams he gets on as a number 2. Yeah. I'm not even going to consider a number 1.
Yeah.
So I think Josh Allen has to realise, yes, we've got a good team, but Megatron's not down there. Live to fight another play, Josh Allen. That's my message.
Following a Brett Favre route, isn't he?
Mm.
A lot of similarities with him and Brett Favre.
And I've got to get this off my chest, guys. Sorry to extend this this segment, but attention, Patrick Peterson. You are a Pittsburgh Steeler now. Start acting like it. Do your talking on the field, not on a podcast before the game. You poked the bear, and it wasn't Paddington. It was a big,
by the way,
grizzly red and gold bear that was
so on the subject of Peterson, right? He played on the Vikings last year as, I think he's 33 now, 32, 33. He played on the Vikings D and looked pretty good in a zone D that plays off coverage. He's now come to Pittsburgh that play man-to-man, bump and run coverage. And I was thinking over the summer, I don't know if he can do that at his age. It turns out he can't do that at his age against
Brandon. What a good day for your Steelers, Paul.
The touchdown where Ayuk set him up and he fell on his ass, like, I mean,
that's the thing. Don't poke the bear, because all the 49ers on the sideline were saying, I thought he had the tells. Mm-hmm. He put the Steelers in a bad spot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And my message to Patrick Peterson is, leave that losing mindset in Arizona. You're at a 6-time Super Bowl winning team now. Yeah. Be about that standard and keep your mouth closed before the game.
Let your playing on the field do the talking.
That's right. Or you know, if you're going to talk, you better walk that walk. And we did not.
Not exactly LOB, is he? So yeah. All right.
Can I have one more on this? Step it up.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Geno Smith. What happened to Geno Smith from the first half of last year? He got paid, from my memory anyway, because I remember him playing very, very well against, I think it was the Saints in the Superdome and against the Lions in that blowout game.
And the rest.
Yeah, but he wasn't elite or anything like that. And in the second half of last year, he kind of reminded the world of who he was. But the Seahawks paid him, and now, like, I don't know. You lose at home to the Rams, and the Rams have 20 rookies starting. That D, except for Donald, and okay, it's Aaron Donald, but except for Donald, is so young, and Geno just, I worry for the Seahawks. I mean, I picked them to make the playoffs as a wild card. I know you don't overreact to week one, but to lose the way they lost.
The way they lost is the problem, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams...
Lions this week.
Yeah. Well, as you two had one extra, I'll put my second one that I wrote 2 notes about them. So my second one, this is a little bit harsh, but when you become the highest paid player in the NFL, you've got to turn up. I don't care if you've had some niggling injuries. You've got to do better than 14 for 31 for 82 yards. That's not good enough. It's Joe Burrows. You've got Jamar Chase. You've got T. Higgins. You've got Joe Mixon. You've got a new offensive lineman, Orlando Brown. Like, you've got pieces all around you, and there's other players that I haven't touched upon. You need to do better than 14 for 31. Yes, the conditions were horrible, but it's not even like they rushed for bucket loads of yards either. You lost the game against Deshaun Watson. I thought Deshaun Watson outplayed him in week one. When it mattered, Deshaun Watson pulled the plays out of the bag, which, who knows, could be a good year for him after a full training camp. But for me, I don't see this going on all year with Joe Burrows. He's predominantly been a pretty slow starter, which is why I went with the Browns to win. But still, when you're paid, what was it, 275 million, something like that? When you're paid, or to become the highest paid NFL player, you've got to put up better numbers.